Good evening. We are on Brachos Daf Yud, on the top. Hanu Biryoni. These are like mafia guys. Biryoni are like strong men, mafia types. Dahavu b'shavavusa Rav Meir. They lived in the neighbor of Rav Meir. V'havakom etzara le'tuva. They gave him a lot of trouble, Rav Meir. Havakoboy Rav Meir rachmi aloi ki hechi delemusu. Rav Meir wanted to daven so that Hashem should kill him. Amr le Bruria dvisu. So Rav Meir had a famous wife, Bruria. She was a Talmidat Chachama. She knew halacha. There are many places in Shas where they're going to quote halacha in the name of Bruria. Bruria met a tragic end. Also, some of her children were killed, but part of the Roman persecutions. She was the daughter of Rav Chanina ben Tradion, the famous Asara Haruge Malchus, where they wrapped him up with the Torah and they burnt him, and we learn about it on Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av. That's Rav Chanina ben Tradion, and Bruria is the daughter of Rav Chanina ben Tradion. So my daitech. So Bruria said to Rav Meir, what are you thinking? Mishum d'chsiv yitamu chata'im min haaretz. It says sins shall be destroyed from the world. Miksiv choitim. Doesn't say sinners. It says chatoim ksiv. It said sin should be wiped away from the face of the earth, but not the sinners. V'od, said Bruria, shpil l'sefer dekra. Look at the end of the pasuk. It says, Urishoim odeinam. And Urishoim are still going to be around. Kivin the Yasbu Chatom Urishoim odeinam. That means, and you can see that there's sort of a disconnect between the fact that even though sins are going to go away, the Rishoim are still going to be there. Ella, rather, Bruria said to Rav Meir, Boy rachmi alayu de lahadri b'tshuva. Rishoim odeinam. They'll still be around, but they'll be balei tshuva at this point. In fact, boy rachmi aloi, Rav Meir davened for them, lahadri b'tshuva. And rather that they should die, they should become balei tshuva, and so he listened to his wife. Amalei ahut saduki lebruria. Again, in our shas it says saduki. In other Gemaras it says min. We had this whole debate again about min is maimin yeshu anotzi, the early Christians. So a certain stuki said to Brixiv, Rani akara lo yalada. Happy is the akara who didn't give birth. Now, why therefore? What do you guys see there in terms of min? Right? They believed in virgin birth. So akara is a woman who can't give birth. So happy is the woman who didn't give birth. So they're going to. So you see the issue that this is not just stuki business. This is min business. This is them throwing psukim at the chachamim, trying to demonstrate the validity of their claims. So mishum.
So she didn't give birth. How did it come out?
That was their claim. That was their claim. The Christians.
So what? No, but it wasn't a man. But it wasn't. But did he come from the womb of the mother?
Yeah, but it was. But she was a basula. They claim.
So Rani Akar lo yolda. Rani lo yolda. According to them, what do you mean lo yolda?
The pasuk says, "Happy is the akara who has not given birth." So their question is going to be mishum de lo yolda rani. They're trying to sort of make fun of psukim. So why should an akara be happy? That's the question that the Gemara has. I'm just demonstrating that the reason why the censor here removed the word min and put in the tzduki, because this is a pasuk that may have relevance to whatever their claims are. So in fact, the min was just chepping with Bruria to say, well, what's going on with your psukim? Why should an akar be happy? Amarle shatya, you fool, shpil l'sefer dekra. Go to the end of the pasuk. Tzsiv, ki rabim b'nei shomema mibnei be'ula amar Hashem. There's going to be a lot of destroyed people from people who are not an akara, but who are a be'ula. and that's referring to you. You are sinners who you're going to, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take revenge against you. And she explained further. Elamaya kara lo yoloda. What does that mean? Rani Knesset Yisrael. Knesset Yisrael is going to be happy. Shedoma liisha akarash lo yolda bonim legehenim kusayich kavasaychu. The Bnei Yisrael are going to be happy that they don't have children that are going to go to Gehenna like you guys are going to have. That's why they are. That's why they're happy. Omerlei ahut stuki l'ravavo. Ksiv mizmor leDavid bevorcho mipnei Avshalom beno. Right, David sang a mizmor when he escaped Avshalom, who was rebelling against him. Uksiv leDavid michtam bevorcho mipnei Shaul b'me'ara. Now, the parak that has to do with Avshalom is parak Yud Gimel. The parak that has to do with Shaul is parak Nun Zayin. Well, which event occurred first? Avshalom's revolt took place many years, after 30 years after Shaul's death. So the event with Shaul took place much earlier. Why is the Mizmor later in Tehillim? That's the question. Hey, Maisa Hava Bereisha. Which came first? Maisa Shaul Hava Bereisha. Lichto Bereisha. In the order of the psukim of the Kapitlach Tehillim, it should be first. So, Omer Lei, Rav Avo responded, Ason, the lo darshisin smuchin, kasha. What's the difference between the Tzdukim and the Prushim? The Tzdukim didn't believe in Torah Shabbat Peh. They believed in Torah Shabbat Sav. When it says that you have to look at your tzitzis, they would hang the tzitzis on the wall because it always had to be looked at. Right. So, but Chazal, they learned the concept of smuchim. Lama nismacha parsha zu la parsha zu. We have many times, why does this parak come in next to this parak? But that's a Torah Shabbat Peh concept. So he explained to them, you guys don't darshan smuchim the cross, so it's not so you guys don't understand it. Anon, the darshan in smuchim lo kasha, it's not a problem for us. What do you mean? So first of all, let's establish smuchim minat Torah minai. The concept of smuchim we're going to see is minat Torah shenemar. It says in Tilim, smuchim la'ad la'olam asuim be'emes v'yosher. So the concept of smuchim is something that is emes v'yosher. Lama nismacha parshas of Shalom, parshas Gog u'Magog. See, there was a reason to bring the parsha of Avshalom to Perek Yud Gimel much earlier. Why? Because the Tanakh wanted to make a smuchin between the parsha of Avshalom and the parsha of Gog u'Magog. Why? Gog u'Magog is the final milcham at the end of time. Before Mashiach comes, there's going to be a final battle between Gog u'Magog. She'im yorben l'cha adam, klum yesh eved shemored b'raboy? Because Gog u'Magog, they're going to rebel against Hashem. So you're going to say, is there an eved that rebels against his master? Afata emerlo, klum yesh ben shemored ba'aviv? Is there a son that rebels against his father? It's also very unusual. El hava, achanami hava. Means, just like by Avshalom, you could have said, well, there'll never be a son who will rebel against his father, and yet we saw it. So the same thing. You might not think Gog u'Magog is going to happen. It's going to happen, and the Avodim are going to rebel against their master. It says in the last parak of Mishlei, written by Shlomo HaMelech, our Eishes Chayil, that we say every Friday night, is the last parak of Mishlei. So it says, Pia poscha b'chochma, her mouth is open with wisdom, the Torah is chesed al Shona, and the Torah of chesed is on her mouth. Kineged mi omer Shlomo mikra zeh. Who was Shlomo thinking about? Lo omer ele kineged David aviv. He was thinking about his father David HaMelech, shedar b'chamisha olamim. He lived in 5 different worlds. What does it mean 5 different worlds? He lived through 5 different epochs in his life. He rebelled when Avshalom rebelled against him in different times. And each time, Omar Shira. David HaMelech, no matter what situation he was in, he said, Shiras v'sishbachos la'Hashem. Dar b'mei imo, when he was in the womb when he was in his mother's womb, he said, Shira shenemar, Barchi nafshi es Hashem, The whole krovai eshem kodsho. The whole krovai, the kirvayim are the innards. He's praising the fact that the human being can survive in the innards of his mother. Yotzul aver oilam, when he was born, and he saw the bria, the stars, the constellations, Omar Shira, Shneimar, Baruch Hashem Alochav Giborei Koyach, right? These are the agents of Hashem, Osei Dvaro, they listen to Hashem's word, Lishmo B'Kol Dvaro. Baruch Hashem called Tzivakov, right? The Tziva'os referred to the heavenly bodies. So that was the second epic in his life. Yonek Mishtei Imo. He nursed from his mother, and he was amazed. V'nistakel b'dodeha, and he saw his mother's breasts. V'omar Shira shenemar, Borchi nafshi es Hashem, v'al tishkechi kol gemulav. Right, being goimel, a child, is when he stops nursing. So the concept of goimel is nursing. Michael gemulav amravosha asolo dodim b'makom bina. If human beings are unique, if you take a look at the animal kingdom, the nipples of a cow, the udder, is much lower. It's near the erva, is near the makom erva. But a woman's breast is near her heart. That's makom bina. Women, they say, have bina yisera. Bina is intuition. A certain kind of wisdom called bina. The bina comes from the heart. And the breast is placed near the heart. Taimamai. So number one, it's a tznius thing. So that when a child nurses, he's not looking at a makom erva. Because by other animals, it is closer to the makom erva. Rav Masna Amar Kadesh Lo Yenik Mimakom Atinoifis. Or it's like a cleanliness thing, that the child should not nurse from a place that's dirty. So that is the third period of time of David Melech's life. Ra b'mapalosim shel Rishoim v'Amar Shira. He saw the Rishoim fall. He said, Shir Shenemar, Yitamu chatoim min haaretz, Ursham orenam, Baruch nafshi Hashem, Hallelujah. Nistakel b'Yom HaMisa v'Amar Shira. Even the Yom HaMisa caused him to say Shir Shenemar, Baruch nafshi Hashem, Hashem Elokai godalta me'od, Hod v'hoder levashta. Now, my mashma al Yom HaMisa number, where is this remnants to Yom HaMisa? Amar Barshila miseifa dinyana. At the end of that pasuk, Tsiv, Tastir panecha yibalun, Tosef rocham yigvaun. So yigva being vayigva vayomos. Vayigva is a lashon misa. So this pasuk refers to the Yom HaMisa, and yet he said shir as well. Rav Simi bar Ukva. V'amri lo Mar Ukva. Other people say it was Mar Ukva himself. Havishchiach kamed Rav Shimon ben Pasi. He was very often by Rav Shimon ben Pasi. V'amim misader agadata kamed Rav Shimon Levi. He was an expert at agadata, and he was organizing all the agadata in front of Rav Shimon ben Levi. Amrle ma'idachsiv borchi nafshis Hashem v'chol krovai Hashem kodsho, which we said before was related to being in his mother's womb because of the krovayim. Look how Hashem is different than a human being. Ran Yud, a little bit further than halfway down. Midas Basvedam Tsart Surah Gabi Akoiso. A human artist will draw a picture on the wall. As much as a person will try, they can't put life into that. They can't put innards, right? He designs a human being within another human being, right? In the mother, it's inside. The mother's already a tzura. So within a tzura, he creates a new tzura. And matil baruch neshama kravayim v'demei, and puts into that tzura life and innards. Hainu damar Chana. Chana, in the first few prokim of Shmuel, also in Tfilas Chana, it says, "Ein kadosh kashem, ki ein biltecha." There's no one holy like Hashem. There's no one like Him. Ve'ein tzur kelokenu. My ein tzur kelokenu, ein tzayer kelokenu. There's no designer like Hashem. He's the great designer of the universe, of life. My kien biltecha. What it means kien biltecha? I'll take kien biltecha ela ein levalosecha. It's a play on words. We have many times al tikva. Don't read it this way. Read it that way. We add the words valosecha. Valosecha is when it comes like an old jacket gets worn out. But human beings live long lives. There's no wearing out. A person makes something, it erodes. Kodesh Baruch Hu, there'll also be erosion, but it's much longer. Anahachi kamina, hani chamisha barki nafshi, kineged mi amor and David. David said 5 times barki nafshi. Who was he saying that against? Lo yamar al kineged Kodesh Baruch Hu, ukineged neshama. He was making sort of a dimyon between the soul and Hashem. Ma Kodesh Baruch Hu, mole kol ha'olam. Hashem fills the whole universe. Af neshama mleas kol haguf. The neshama fills the whole body. There is no part of the body that doesn't have the neshama in it. If it did, that part would die. Ma Kodesh Baruch Hu ro aveinu nireh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the all-seeing, but we don't see him. Af neshama ro aveinu nireh. The neshama is the same way. He sees, but we don't see him. Ma Kodesh Baruch Hu zanis kol ha'olam kulo. HaKadosh Baruch Hu provides sustenance and nourishment to the whole universe. Af neshama zanis kol haguf. The neshama plays the same role. It nourishes the whole body. Ma'akadosh Baruch Hu tor of neshama tohira. Just like there's the Kodesh Baruch Hu is the ultimate in tohira, the neshama is the same. Ma'akadosh Baruch Hu yoshev b'chedrei chadarim. Kodesh Baruch Hu is hidden. We don't see him. Af neshama yosheves b'chedrei chadarim. Yavu mishi yesh bo chamisha dvar malalu v'yishabech l'mishi yesh bo chamisha dvar malalu. Let the neshama who has these 5 things come and praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu has the same 5 things. Omer Rav Nuna Maidich Siv, Mi ki hachacham, umi yodea pesher davar. Who is wise and can do compromise? Now we're going to see later on in Shas that even though you have the format of Bezdin, right, that when Bale Dinim, when 2 litigants come in front of Bezdin, they first try to make them do pshara. Rather than go to the din and go and one will win the whole thing, one will lose the whole thing, you make a compromise. That's always attempted first. So this pasuk seems to be in Kohelah's praises as wisdom compromise. Mi kadosh baruch hu she'odeh la'asos pshara ben shnei tzadikim. And in fact, the ultimate model of someone who was a good compromiser or led to compromise, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Who did he cause compromise? Ben Chizkiyahu Yishayahu. We had Chizkiyahu HaMelech and Yishayahu HaNavi. There was a debate. Who is going to come visit who? Chizkiyahu Omer, Leis Yishayahu Gaboy. Let Chizkiyahu come to visit me. Di hachi ashkechon be'Eliyahu da'azal gabi Achav. When there was a battle between Achav, the evil king, and Eliyahu HaNavi went to Achav. Shenemar vayelech Eliyahu laharos el Achav. So Chizkiyahu wanted to use that as the precedent that the Navi should come to the king. Yeshayahu Omer Leisi Chizkiyahu Gavoy. No, the king should come to me. Da'achi ashkechan bi Yehoram ben Achav, the son of Achav, the Ozl Gabi Elisha, who went to Elisha the Navi. Ma'asa Kadosh Baruch Hu hevi Yisrum al Chizkiyahu. He caused Chizkiyahu to get sick. V'omer lo Yeshayahu lech ulvakir sachayla. And he told Yeshayahu to go fulfill Bikur Cholim. We're going to start tomorrow in Tzurvim Rabbanon, Volume 3, Hilchos Bikur Cholim. So, he told Yeshayahu, be Mekai in the midst of Bikur Cholim. Shneamar bayamim ahem, Chol Chizkiyahu lamus. Chizkiyahu got ill. He had a death illness. He was going to die. Vayavoy lav Yeshayahu ben Amotz HaNavi, and Yeshayahu came to visit him. Vayomer elav kol amar Hashem tzvakos, tzav leveisecha. So says Hashem, give command and a will in the last testament to your children. Ki meisata v'lo sichya. You're going to die. You're not going to live. So first of all, what's this double language? Meisata v'lo sichya.
You're not going to be revived.
Ma my ki meisata v'lo sichya. Meisata bo'olam hazeh, v'lo sichya lo olam haba. So that was the message that Yeshayahu delivered to Chizkiah.
He was a Usher?
Hang on. Omer le mai kulahai. Chizkiah Melech was not a rosh. Chizkiah Melech was his great tzaddik. So, why am I getting this kind of punishment? Said Chizkiah. Omer le mishum de lo sakta b'priya v'reviyah. Chizkiah had held himself back from having children. Why? He had seen b'nevuah that Menashe, right, Menashe HaMelech, came out of Chizkiah. He ruled for 55 years. He brought Etzelim into the Heichal, and it was a terrible time. That was finally Yoshio HaMelech, who followed Menashe. After 18 years, remember they discovered the Sefer Torah. There was no, during the Menashe, they had forgotten everything. There was no Sukkot, there was no Pesach. We laid that on the second day of Pesach, the Haftorah, that he discovered. There was never a Pesach like that because they had discovered the Sefer Torah and it told them that there's a whole din of mitzvah of Pesach. Why did they forget all of it? Because of 55 years of Menashe Melech, the son of Chizkiah. So somehow Chizkiah Melech knew this.
No, so he didn't want to.
Knew this. He held back not having children. At this point, he had not had children.
But if you say if he saw it Benevuah,
He saw Benevuah, he's going to have a Rosh as a child. So he says, I'm not going to have
he
child.
can't prevent it.
No, he's not.
The Nevuah shows you what's going to be, so he can't prevent the future that happened.
He tried. He said, I'm not going to have any. He did not have any. He was not married. He did not have any children.
So how did Menashe come about?
Hang
if he
on.
was
But,
the nephew
at this
children?
right now, Chizkiah Melech is dying, and he's going to be dead, and there's not going to be any children. And the reason for it was because he held back having children, because he saw that he's going to have a
But
Rosh.
if he saw,
Omer le, mishum de chazoi li beruach hakodesh. I had seen beruach hakodesh. Denafka minoi benin delon malu. Going to come out of me children that are not good children. Omer le, bahadi kafshi drachmon alam lecha. What are you doing with the secrets of Hashem? Maidim efkadet iboy lecha lemevid. What you are commanded to do, you're supposed to do. Umadnicha kama kutchabrichu levid. And what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do, what he's going to do. That means you don't have a right to not do pru or vu. You have a mitzvah to do pru or vu. And Hashem will take care of, you take care of your thing, and he takes care of his thing. That's what Yeshayahu Novi told Chizkiah Melech. Amalek, okay. Hashta havli bartecha. Yeshayahu had a daughter. So Chizkiah, let's make a shidduch. I'll marry your daughter. After the garments maybe because of my schus and your schus, and because of your daughter, we'll have better children. And they got married and they had children, and eventually Menashe Melech came from there. Omer lei kvar nigzra lecha gzeira. So right now, first of all, Chizkiah Melech is not even going to survive because there's a gzeira against you. You're going to die. Omer lei ben amotz kalan nevuasacha. So he chased Yeshayahu out. That means as long as you're saying nevuah, we're not going to be able to change it. So leave. Let's say, he said, you're wrong. Even if a sharp sword is on a person's neck, you should still daven to Hashem. You never know. You can be saved in the last minute. So I'm not accepting it. I'm going to daven. You should still daven. They're going to kill me and I'm not going to daven. I am going to daven. Rav Chanan. So people would get dreams also which would sort of predict the future. And they would happen. Let's say you could have a chalom that's going to say tomorrow you're going to die. You should still daven. Whatever happens, chaloimas, whatever, you should be a yiras Hashem and you should daven to Hashem. Miyad, vayasev Chizkiyahu panav el hakir, vayispalel el Hashem. Immediately Chizkiyahu turned to the wall and he davened. My kir. Now, what do you mean he turned to the wall? What's the shot that you have to turn to the wall? Amar Rav Shimon ben Lakish mekiros libo. That means from the depths of his heart, from the corners of his heart. Shneimar may I ochila kiros libi. From the bottom of my heart and the corners of my heart will I daven. Rav Levi Omer al iske hakir. No, he used a wall. We'll see what wall he's talking about as a melamed schus for him. Omer lefon Rebbeinu Shalom mashu namis. The isha hashunamit, right? We lay in that parsha. It's also a famous haftorah that there was the Shunamite woman would see Elisha Hanavi travel through town. So she built, she and her husband, she advised her husband, let's build him we'll see whether it was an attic or a private room, and we'll put a bed and a chair and a candle and a kisei as an achsanya for Elisha. And then Elisha told him, okay, is there something I can do for you? Can I speak to the king? And then the Isha Shunamit said, no, b'tochami ani your Shabbos. She said, I want to stay with that. But she had determined that there was no children. I think we lay in that by Parshas Vayera, when the same Parsha where Sarah is nifkad with a child, we lay in the haftorah of the Parsha Shunamit, where the Shunamit was nifkad with a child. So, because she was very old as well, she got a child. What happened to the child? The child died. And they call for Elisha, and Elisha revives the child. He does the Tchias HaMesim, he puts his face on his face and breathes into him. And that's the haftarah that we learn in Parshas Vayera. So, Umashunamit Shalosta Elekir Achas Katana. What did she do? She just put up a wall so Elisha would have privacy. And what? Hachisa Esbena. Elisha revived the life of her child. Abi Abba. He's referring to his grandfather, who? Shlomo HaMelech. Shechavas HaHechel Kulu B'Ketzav V'Zahav. He just didn't build one wall. He built a whole Beis HaMikdash with gold and silver. Alachas Kama V'Kama, that I have a right to be revived like Elisha revived. So he said, Zechorna es asher salachti lefanecha. He told Hashem, remember that I walked in your ways. Be'emes uvelev sholem. V'atov beinecha sisi. I did what was right in your eyes. What is that? My v'atov beinecha sisi. Omer v'yidom rav. Shesomach geula l'tfila. Chizkiah was noyeg to daven with what? The Netzach Hama, like we said. The Vasikin would wake up by Netzach Hama to say Shmona Esrei at that time, and they would say Kriya Shema right before. Even though, what did we say? Most kings didn't even wake up until the third hour of the day. But Chizkiah Melech, even though he was a king, would wake up early. Rav Levi Omer Shegana Sefer Refuos. No, Chizkiah did something else very, very positive. There was, some say it was from Avram Avinu, some say it was Adam HaRishon, a Sefer Refuos. It was a Sefer that had the cure to all diseases. And Chizkiah buried it. Why? People weren't davening. They would go to the Sefer Refuos, they would get healed. When they were going to the Sefer Refuos, people started davening better, and it led to more tzidkis, more davening. Torah Rabbanon. Shisha Dvar Masa Chizkiah Melech. Chizkiah Melech did 6 acts. Al Gimel Hoidulo, Al Gimel Hoidulo. The Chachamim approved of 3 of them. On 3 of them, they did not approve. Al Gimel Hoidulo, Gana Sefer Refuos V'Hoidulo. When he buried the Sefer Refuos, the Chachamim were happy. They thought that was a good thing. Kosas Nachash HaNechoshes. So when they were in the Midbar, they were attacked by snakes. So Moshe Rabbeinu fashioned a snake made out of copper, right? The AMA uses that as a symbol of medicine. It was a snake around a staff, but he made us copper, and they would look at it, and they were healed from the snake bite. So this thing had been kept in the Beis HaMikdash, but I guess people started looking at it as an avodah zarah, so he buried it, or he broke it. He smelted it down, v'hoidulo, and they agreed to it. Girer artzamos aviv al mita shel chavolim v'hoidulo. Chizkiah's father was also a Rasha. And when they did the funeral for his father, he did it in not a kovedik way. He wrapped them with some kind of rope. So the Chachamim liked that, to show that even if you're a king, but if you're a Rasha, you're not going to get all the honors. Al Gimel Lo Hodulo. There were 3 things that Chizkiah Melech did that they did not support. Sosa megichon v'lohodlo. There was a stream that supplied the sewage of the Beis HaMikdash. Also, it was a water supply for the Beis HaMikdash. But in his battles with the Assyrian king, he blocked it up because he didn't want them to find a water source. And they were not happy with that because they needed it in the Beis HaMikdash. Hoyulo, the Loyhodo, they did not agree to that. Kotzas losses Hechel v'shagal melech Ashur also v'lohodolo. Also, in his negotiations with the Assyrian king, he took the doors off the Beis HaMikdash and sent it to him as a gift. They didn't like that. Ovar nisan b'nisan v'lohodolo. Now, we have dinim, of course, which allow us to make an Iber Chodesh. If comes time in the spring, we see it's too early for Pesach to come. Pesach has to come Chodesh HaAviv, has to be in the springtime. But let's say they look outside and they see that the calendar, it's too early. They have to add an extra Adar. Okay. So he added an extra month, but they were already in Chodesh Nisan. And you're not allowed to do that. You're supposed to do it already in Chodesh Adar. Frankly, more. I mean, what? Chizkiah Melech didn't know the basic halacha that you can't do Ibra Chodesh b'Nisan? So now, Ta'abed is Shmuel. He made a mistake in the halacha of Shmuel HaRamasi, the Navi Shmuel. Domer Shmuel, Ein ma'arvin es hashana b'yom shloishim shel Adar. Hoyel v'roy l'kovoy Nisan. And this is Shmuel, was Rav Shmuel, he was an expert in astronomy, that you do not, if the 30th day of Adar comes, you can't do Ibra Chodesh anymore. Why? Because on the 30th day, remember, Jewish months are either 29 or 30 days. Right? The lunar cycle is 29 and a half days. Some of our months are 29, some of our months are 30. So on the 30th day of the month, if Eidim come and they say, last night we saw the new moon, so they declare this day the first day of the next month. And the previous month was only a 29th day month. Now, if no Eidim come on the 30th, then automatically this is a 30-day month, and the next day is Rosh Chodesh. Now, since this is a day that is Roy to become Rosh Chodesh, you can't add the month to it. But Savar Hoyel v'Roy lo Amrina, he thought, Roy is Roy, we need this. So let's say Eidim didn't come. It wouldn't be the Rosh Chodesh. So he made a mistake in that din of Roy. Okay. Amr Rav Yechim Shum Rav Yossi ben Zimra. Kol ha-toile b'schutz atzmo, toile lo b'schutz acher. How did Chizkiyahu daven? He talked about his own suchusim, right? He said, Zechor asher salachti lefanecha, look at the hatov beinecha asisi. So if you're toile in your own zechuyos, eventually, when credit is given, somebody else is going to get credit for it. Kol ha-toile b'schutz acherim. But if when you request something, you base the zechuyos on other people, you're going to get the credit for it. Toile lo b'schutz atzmo. Where do we see this? Moshe toile b'schutz acherim. When Moshe davened, he didn't daven on his own zchus. Shneimar, Zechor l'Avraham li'Yitzchak li'Yisrael v'adecha. When he was davening to save them from the Egel HaZahav from being destroyed, he davened to remember Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Toile lo b'schutz atzmo. Eventually, Moshe got the credit. Shneimar, Vayomer lahashmideim, and I said I was going to destroy them. Lulei Moshe bechiro amad b'peretz lefanav lahashiv chamoso ma'ashchis. If it wasn't for my servant Moshe, who stood in the breach to dissuade my anger. In vice versa, Chizkiah tala b'schus atzmo. Chizkiah davened using his own schus. T'chsiv zchor na es asher salachti lefanecha. In the end, tala lo b'schus achem. Shenemar v'ganosi el ha'ir azos lahoshia lemani u'leman David avdi. That when eventually it talks about Chizkiah Melech getting healed, because he did get healed, it refers to David, his great-grandfather. I mean, great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, not his own schus, since he davened using his own zechuyos. Hainu, Rishon ben Levi, Rishon ben Levi, Maidich Siv, Hinei l'shalom mar li mar, That means afilu b'shasha shigala Kadosh Baruch Hu shalom marhu lo. Even when HaKadosh Baruch Hu said word to Chizkiah that he was going to be saved from his illness, it was a little bitter for him because it wasn't based on his own zechuyos, it was on the zechus of dar. Then we mentioned this Isha Shunamit who built this add-on for Elisha Navi, right? She said to her husband, Nasa na aliyas kir kitana. Let's make a little kir. Now, what does kir normally mean is a wall? So Rav Shmuel, Chadamer Aliyas Prua Haisa. They had an upstairs, but the upstairs didn't have a roof. The kirua, they put a roof on it. So the word kirua could also mean roof. So here they're teaching the word kir to mean that they roofed an upstairs that they had that was unroofed. And that became Elisha's place when he came to stay with them. Chadamer Achzandra Gdoya Haisa. No, they lived in a big first floor area. The Chalkua Lishnayim. They built a wall across half of it, and they gave him half. That's the kir. So the pshat that it was an achsandra, and they built a kir. That's why the Torah says kir. All they have to do is build a wall. My kir, shekirua, because the word kirua can also mean roofing something. So it works. Because when it talks about an upstairs, so when she spoke to her husband, she used the word an aliyah, which is you got to go up to a height. And Lamando Marzandra, my aliyah, the people who learned pshat that they were talking about just a first floor area that they divided, what's the word aliyah? Me'ula shababatim. That means they gave him a beautiful section of the house. And the aliyah is like something that is a mile. Vuz?
Pentos.
V'nasim lo sham mita v'shulchan v'kisei u'menorah. It said we shall put there a bed, a table, a chair, and a candelabra. Everything a guest needs. If you want to be mahana somebody, you want to give somebody benefit, do it like they did to Elisha. And listen, some people agree to accept gifts. Other people don't like to accept gifts. And you know what? The Gemara is telling us you can be either way. Elisha accepted. Shmuel did not accept. And both are a midah that you can follow. Shenemar, utshuva so haramoso kisham beso. Shmuel Hanavi traveled. But when he traveled, he took everything with him. He didn't want to rely on other people. And the Gemara is telling us that you can practice both midos. Meaning, wherever Shmuel went, he took his whole household with him. Vatomer el isha, hinena yadati ki ish elokim kadoshu. The Isha Shunami told her husband that, you know what? I see Elisha, he's a holy man. So the Gemara is going to ask, how did she know that she was holy? The wife can understand the character when a guest comes to your house. The wife already sizes up who that guy is, more than the husband. Kadoshu Minay Yoda. How did she know immediately that this was a Kadosh? Rav Shmuel. That wherever Elisha sat, she didn't see any flies. I guess they lived in a society which was full of flies. And Elisha, wherever he was, there were no flies. Excuse me, Allah. That means she would put a clean sheet on his bed. Usually travelers who were traveling would have emissions. That's part of the physical nature of traveling would cause people to have emissions. But he was a Kodesh, so he didn't have any emissions. When she went to clean his sheets, she always saw that the sheets were clean. Then it says, Kodesh who? Who Kodesh umesharso ain't a Kodesh. Who was Elisha's Mesharis? Gehazi. Right? One of the people who ain't lo chelik lo mabos, Gehazi. He always wanted money. Means Kadosh who? He's holy, but his Mesharis is not holy. Vayagesh gechazi lahadfa. That means he grabbed her in an inappropriate way. He grabbed her, in a molestation kind of way, because he was that kind of person. He was not a kodesh. Then the Isha Shunami told her husband, Over aleinu tamid. He's always passing by. Somebody who welcomes a Talmid Chacham in your home, and you give him from your assets. That's the concept of tamid. He came around all the Talmid Chacham are traveling all the time. They need places to stay all the time. It's literally like you were makriv the korban tamid. Oilas tamid was done every day. Having a Talmid Chacham in your house all the time as a guest is like being makriv a korban tamid. This is a halacha. You shouldn't stand on a chair in daven, but you shouldn't stand on a height in daven, because it'll ruin your concentration. Ela b'makom namuch. You should daven in a low place. You should call out to Hashem from the depths, physical depths. Not on a stool. You should daven from a low place. Kadosh Baruch doesn't recognize tall places, Mount Everest or Death Valley. I accept tefillah from even an ani. Doesn't have to be a big person. You have to put your feet together. Because it says by the malachim, it's like they have their feet are together. Don't eat dam. You're about to daven for your blood. I mean, so you should stay alive. Don't eat before you daven. So this is the halacha that we don't eat before we daven. Of lo sochlu al adam. That pasuk. Whoever eats and drinks and only then davens, your pride, your haughtiness. If you sit down and eat, you're valuing yourself before Hashem. Before you're asking for your own life, you're already taking care of yourself. Only after he's sort of taking care of number one is he then going to daven. And Rav Yoshua Omar ad Gimel shows. So Rav Yoshua said you have 3 hours, up until 3 hours to say Kriya Shema. Rav Yoshua, that's the halacha. But then we said like this: let's say you read Kriya Shema after the 3rd hour. Maybe you're not Makayim Kriya Shema, but you're Makayim Limud HaTorah. Now, if you're saying Kriya Shema after the 3rd hour, though, you shouldn't say it as Kriya Shema, meaning with the brachos before and after. But Meisvei, Hakar Mikan ve'elech lo yifsid. You didn't lose that. Ka'adam shekor b'torah v'mavarch v'shtayim l'fanev achad l'achreya. To yufta Rav Chizda, to yufta. We ask a complete kasha Rav Chizda. We bring from a brayso so that you're allowed to say the brachos along with Kriya Shema, even if it's after the 3rd hour of the day. And that's the halacha. When it said he's not hifsid, he didn't lose out the brachas, you can still say the brachas. So you're allowed to say the brachas even after the 3rd hour. So the Gaonim, by the time of the Gaonim, they said even after the 4th hour, you shouldn't say the brachas. Better is reading Kriya Shema in its right time. More than learning Torah. That means it's as if you learn Torah, but meaning reading Kriya Shema in its right time is even a higher madrega than learning Torah. Mishnah. Beis Shammai Oimrim. Ba'erev kol adam yatev v'yikra. It says b'shoch b'chov kumecha. So therefore Beis Shammai learned you should do this. You should lean. When you say Kriya Shema, you shouldn't do it sitting up. Since people, when they go to sleep, they're leaning a little bit. You should do a physical act that represents that. Uba boiker yamod. It says b'shoch b'cha uvekumecha. When you wake up, you're standing up. So according to Beis Shammai, They said Kriya Shema standing up. Shenamar uveshabach ukumecha. They still no. And we paskin this way, of course. Kolodam kara kedarko. You can read Kriya Shema sitting, you can read it standing, you can read it walking, you can read it anyway. Shenamar uvelechtecha v'derech anywhere you go. Imkein lama nemar v'shabach ukumecha. To teach me b'shah shebnei adam shachtim b'shah shebnei adam living. He needed to give us time markers. When do people go to sleep? You read it, and when people wake up. Amrav Tarfin, Aniya Yisi Baba Derech, V'hitatzi likros k'divrei Beis Shammai. I was walking and I leaned over to say like Beis Shammai, v'sakanti batzmi, and they listed him. When I did that, the robbers almost discovered me and I put myself in danger. Amru lo, the Chacham, remember, Rav Tarfon was trying to do like Beis Shammai. Amru lo, kadai yisel l'chov batzmach shavarta al divrei Beis Hillel. You were deserving to be killed because you went against the words of Beis Hillel. Now, why do we pass on Beis Hillel? That's going to be the next Gemara tomorrow night.